Hello, everyone. Welcome to Durrett's Take. Let's get started. In my last podcast, I went over my draft grades for all the AFC teams, and this time I'll be going over all the NFC teams. So let's get started with the NFC East. So the Washington football team, I'm giving them a B minus. So like I said the other day, I would have preferred they would have taken a great offensive tackle in the first round instead of the second round. So that's what I would have done, especially when you have, Fitzpatrick's not knows a dual threat type of guy. Also, the reason that prevented them from getting in the A category is I didn't like their fifth and sixth round picks. They did get two weapons though, Diami Brown, from UNC, and then Dax Smith from BYU, which they needed. So that's why they at least get a B, because they did a good job filling that need. So now we'll see if their offense can become more explosive this year. Um, the New York Giants, I'm giving them a B. I like the idea of them trading back in that draft, and I like Kadarius Toney, but picking him at 20 was, first of all, overreaching him, but then second of all, it's like they did not need him because they had acquired, Kenny Galladay for agency and have a bunch of other good wide receivers and tight ends that they got. So I thought that was kind of questionable there. And then the Giants, had bad later round picks, but kind of in the middle, like second through fourth round type, those picks there that they made, I thought they were all pretty good, so that's why they got at least a B. Especially the Azeez Ojulari from the linebacker, outside linebacker, pass rush from Georgia. The fact they were able to get him at 50 was a steal. So that kind of saved them from getting a bad grade. Dallas Cowboys, I'm also giving a B. Um, I love Micah Parsons. I love him. I must admit, I was sad not to get either Patrick Surtain or J.C. Horn, because that would have been awesome. But Parsons was a good consolation prize, especially since he was the best linebacker draft, potentially best defender draft, and also a diehard Cowboys fan, which is nice to get one of those. Um, Also, he can help out with us getting sacks, which has been kind of hard for us. Also, like getting Jabril Cox at a steal in the fourth round. I know that having a fourth linebacker though can make things a little bit difficult, but Dan Quinn can figure it out. Maybe he's 3-4 scheme or something, or just have depth. Since Sean Lee retired and Van Der Esch always gets injured, so that's something there. They drafted wide receiver in the fifth round, which is a little puzzling. That's why I docked them. One reason why I docked them a letter grade is just you did not need another wide receiver. Now if Gallup or Cooper gets traded, then that's one thing, but still, it's like I didn't think that was good there. They got a couple offensive linemen later on in the draft, which they needed. I don't like that move. The only other reason that I wouldn't give them full A is because even though they did get two cornerbacks, and I would have the cornerbacks that they did get, I don't like. I don't trust as of right now, so that's why I won't give them the full A. Philadelphia, I'll give them a B minus. They were kind of all over the place for me. Like one pick they make, oh, excellent. The next pick they make, oh, that was horrible. It's just kind of too consistent there. But like I said, I mean, maybe Devontae Smith would be a good get there. I do like their third, fourth round selections, but other than that, the rest of their picks were kind of questionable. Now Green Bay, I'm going to give them a C. I love the Amari Rogers wide receiver. I love Green Bay getting him in the third round. I think he could have been a second rounder in my opinion. Also like the Packers getting a replacement center in the second round because they needed that. Those things made sure they didn't get a failing grade. But other than that, I didn't like the rest of the moves. Getting that cornerback, from Georgia, Eric Stokes. I thought his teammate, cornerback Jordan Campbell, was better. Plus, there was another quarterback from Florida State that I thought was better that they could have gone after in the first round. Or they could have gone, something like Elijah Moore or something was there and get the Aaron Rodgers, that bona fide number one wide receiver. But instead, they do that. So that's why they only get a C. Chicago, I'm giving them an A. Now, I can't really find a hole in their drafting strategy, which is kind of surprising since Pace is on the verge of getting fired, Got to give credit to Pace where credit's due. Yes, we don't know if Fields is going to be a bust or not. But at least if Fields is a bust, we're not going to hammer them. We're going to say, oh, just too bad it didn't work out versus Trubisky, where we can tell from the start, okay, that's going to be a fail. And then we look at what they did for the rest of the draft. In the second round, they traded up to get a good offensive tackle for Oklahoma State, who I thought was going to go in the first round, and they needed another tackle on the offensive line that was mediocre, so that was a good get. They drafted a running back from Virginia Tech, Khalil Herbert, in the later rounds, who I thought was going to go earlier, and now you have and now with Cohen coming back healthy, and Montgomery and Herbert, that's a three-headed monster running back. That's gonna be pretty good there. to have the good rushing tech there to help out Justin Fields. Then they got a good corner from Oregon State, and then in the late round to help replace Fuller, who they let go. And then in the last round, they selected the defense tackle Tonga from BYU with the last pick, which is a steal because I had him going 5th round. So they just made good picks all around, and I'm very impressed with Chicago. This potentially saved Payson Nagy's job here, potentially. Minnesota, I'm giving them a B minus. Now they had a lot of picks here, especially because they traded down. And I like the 2 linemen that they got. And I also like them picking up Kellen Mond in the 3rd round. Because Cousins, he can play for a year or two, but he has the ceiling. He's just clearly not the answer at this point. You need to, and Mond's completely different from Cousins. So I like the Mond pick there. Other than that, though, I don't like most of their defensive picks. And their running back, wide receiver pick, which I thought they didn't need either of those, and they ended up picking one of each, and they both picks I didn't like there. So that's the reason why they didn't get an A or anything like that, but good enough to get a B minus. Detroit, I'm giving them a B plus, which you usually don't say that about Detroit Draft Grade, but I thought they did a pretty decent job. I liked the taking of Penei Sewell. I thought that was the smart move there, especially if he becomes an annual Pro Bowler like we all think he will be. The wide receiver pickup of Amari St. Brown from USC I liked, although they still didn't find that explosive wide receiver like Devontae Smith or Elijah Morrison, one that can have a lot of speed and a lot of yards like Kenny Galladay did for them. So they're still going to need to find that basically next year's draft, in my opinion, unless they make a trade, for Odell Beckham Jr. or something. But that's why they don't get an A category for me. But other than that, I liked all the other picks that they got, and they helped beef up that defensive line, which they needed as well. New Orleans, I'm giving them a D, which again, this is kind of surprising, because Indianapolis got a D and they have a good GM, Buffalo got a D, a GM, but New Orleans here, again, I just did not like what they did. So first of all, the one thing that saved them from getting a complete F here was that they got a linebacker that I liked and I can plug and start that they got in the 2nd round, and then a cornerback in the 3rd round that they needed. Now I'm not sure, obviously they're going to work out on that, but I have high hopes on them. But the rest of the picks, like I said, were bad. So like Las Vegas, they overreached for a defensive end Peyton Turner from Houston in the 1st round, which they could have gotten in the 2nd round. So that was an overreach. Then they get a wide receiver in the 7th round, and I hated that pick because I thought they needed, more explosive receivers like Amari Rodgers, like taking him in the 3rd round or something like that to help get another weapon on that team so that it's not all Michael Thomas there, especially now that Emmanuel Sanders is gone. And then they got quarterback Ian Book in the 4th round, which I'm not I'm fine with them drafting Ian Book if they believe in him, but drafting him in the 4th round specifically is where I have an issue with that, because for me, I thought he wasn't going to go to the earliest 6th round. He could have waited till then. So that I know Mickey Loomis is top 5 GM, but this was not his finest draft. Tampa Bay, I'm giving Tampa Bay an A. They could have screwed this draft up, and I still want to have Matter, since they're deep and have a fully loaded roster. But they did a great job once again. The only reason why they didn't get the perfect A plus though is because they took Joe Tryon with the 1st pick, and Joe Tryon could be good. I'm not sure. I'm not as high on per se as a lot of other people are, but with the defensive tackle Christian Barmore there from Alabama, and the fact that he was on 1 year's deal, stuff like that, it would have been smart to get him as a replacement for Sue there. I would have done that, but other than that, they made good picks. They got Kyle Trask as the future. I prefer mobile QB, but if they still have a good offensive line and they still have good weapons by the time Brady retires, then that's not going to be as much of an issue there, especially if Bruce Arians still is a coach. I like mostly all the other positions they got. They got a good wide receiver, from North Texas, a good cornerback from BYU, a good linebacker with the last pick of the draft from Houston. So again, I just liked all their picks there. Carolina, I'm also giving them an A. Carolina had a lot of picks as well, and some people thought they should have drafted Fields in case Darnold doesn't work out. But I like the strategy of surrounding Darnold with as enough talent as you can, and then make him be okay, it's all you on this point. We're giving you everything you could, basically. And J.C. Horn's a good QB. They got Terrence Marshall in the 2nd round from LSU. Who played with Joe Brace. He knows that system. They got left tackle Christian from BYU, which they needed to fill and address that position. And then, like I said, most of the remaining picks they had, I liked them all. Atlanta, I'm giving them an A minus. I like what and who they drafted for the most part. My only knock on them for getting an A plus was that they did not get a QB of the future. So if for some reason you didn't want to take, Justin Fields, a hometown product at the fourth pick, you really loved Pitts, like you still could have taken a QB like in the third round or something like that, like a Mon or a Mills or a Trask or whoever type of thing, and they didn't address that position. So that's the reason why they didn't do that. Um, Seattle, I'm giving them a D. It's hard to get a pass grade with only 3 picks, so you have to really nail it. I did not like the wide receiver in the second round. I mean, I guess the wide receiver itself is okay with me, but I didn't like him specifically going in the second round to Seattle. I didn't like that fit there. They should have gone cornerback with that second round pick, and then the getting on lineman with the second round pick was the right. With their second pick was the right choice, and it's the only reason why they didn't get complete F. But I mean, with 3 picks, I would have gotten that quarterback in the second round, like I said. Then with the next 2 picks, I would have gotten both offensive linemen. So Russell Wilson won't be complaining as much, but because I feel like they have enough weapons, in my opinion. So that's why the wide receiver didn't make any sense. But oh well. LA Rams, I'm giving them a D plus. I was just so confused by the Rams. It started with the Goodell portrait on their wall, and then they drafted a wide receiver, which I thought was 2 wide receivers, which both of them I thought was unnecessary. Second of all, I thought both the wide receivers they drafted are potential complete bust factors there. I didn't like either of them. They did not address the secondary as much as I thought they would, especially since they lost some people. I thought that was kind of strange as well. But the D line picks that they got were pretty good, so that's what saves them from getting an F there. Arizona, I'm giving them a C. Even though Xavier Collins was drafted a little bit high, like I said the other day, I like the player herself. I like the Rondale Moore pick in the second round. He's had some injury problems. He could be electric on kick returns, be a weapon there. The rest of the picks, though, I did not care for at all. They addressed some areas of needs, which is why they got a passing grade, but unlike the other teams, I'm not sure if any of their picks third round beyond will work out or not. And the last but not least, San Francisco, I'm giving them a B plus. And they made the right call on Trey Lance over Matt Jones, like I said earlier. I like that they addressed the secondary position and got some help on the line. They drafted 2 running backs, though. Both are good, no problems with them, but I thought drafting 2 was unnecessary, which is why they don't get the full A. But once again, Lynch did a good job there. So there you go, that's my grades. So just to kind of review, I had 1 A plus, this was Cleveland, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 A's, and then 1 A minus, and then you got 3 B pluses, 6 B's, 5 B minuses, and then 3 C's and 1 C minus. So again, it's just a lot of good grades there from teams. So an excellent draft. I'm looking forward to the next draft next year. So thank you very much for listening to my podcast today. Please subscribe to my channel, tell everyone about me. Thank you very much, and you'll have a wonderful day.